With chapter 166 of Chainsaw Man, we see a bit of a shift that is hidden behind all the horny jokes that should have come out of this chapter, which on the surface level is going to make it harder for some people, no pun intended, to appreciate what Fujimoto's done with this chapter, because it proves the stigma of Chainsaw Man right. If you're someone like us who reads the series, we know that there's a hidden layer of complexity to Denji and all the horny stuff that we have. But to the average person who's only seen all the memes that are taken out of context, they're just going to add this to whatever growing pile of manga panels where they say that Denji is a total gooner who hears No Nut November has started and he purposely fails multiple times on day one. So let's back things up and unpack everything there is in the chapter, because this is a great case study for Denji's character. So we pick up where the last chapter left off and we see Katana Man, and he's telling Denji, look man, you're just stressed out, right? Well, let's go to my brothel, let's get some food, let's get some drinks, and I'll get one of the girls there to give you a happy ending. And when Mitaka hears this, she is immediately grossed out. And she looks to Denji for validation for her feelings, because in her mind, the prospect of having sexual relations, regardless as if it's penetration or it's a good old-fashioned twisty twist, is enough to make her feel disgusted. To Mitaka, it becomes clear that sex is something you participate with someone who you have a genuine connection for. But most importantly, during a time like this, she's thinking there's no way that sex is even on the mind of Denji, except she has completely missed the truth about Denji. But towards the end of the chapter, she sees it. That guy, he is horny, and by horny, I mean he is drawn with an inquisitive look on his face, like he's giving some severe thought to it. And when Mitaka sees what's going on, she basically says, are you serious right now? Nayuta is missing. That's where your focus should be at, and recovering should be the thing that is on your mind. But Denji shows that when it comes to typical teenage boy brain and typical teenage girl brain, in most cases when speaking in generalities, to say that their brains are working a little bit different is a bit of an understatement, because it's biology. Denji's mind is completely on sex, and in the most Denji fashion ever, he's straight up spitting philosophy like he's debating Socrates and Aristotle on the subject matter of whether or not he feels depressed because he hasn't rubbed one out for the day. There's not really any hiding it. Denji is on a path to erectile dysfunction by beating his cock as much as he does, and he's so obsessed with the prospect of having sex that he's going to end up being desensitized to it when he does finally get his cherry pop. But this is where I do appreciate what Fujimoto is doing here. Teenage boys, their testosterone is at some of the highest levels he'll ever be at in their lives. It's not at their peak, but it's still at some of the highest levels. If it has legs, if it has breasts and a feminine figure, a teenage boy is probably thinking, how can I spread its legs, or how can I bend it over in order to hump it? Because for guys, their sexual drive, it peaks earlier in life, whereas a woman, her sexual drive, it doesn't peak until her 30s and early 40s. We're seeing Denji thinking with little Denji here, like a lot of us did when we were that age. But this is where I find the sadness of Denji's situation and why I say we have a lot to unpack here. So ever since Chainsaw Man Part 2 started, really going as far back as the aftermath of the Makima battle itself, Denji seemed extremely sex-starved, to a point where if he was at horny level 99 in Chainsaw Man Part 1, he's taken it up to infinite horny level where it can't even be measured. It's why people such as myself, we suspected maybe this guy isn't really over the trauma that Makima put him through, and we see Denji starting to come to that conclusion, but not just because Makima, but also because of the trauma that his life has that he hasn't truly addressed up until this point. Again, go back to the scene with the falling devil. He hasn't addressed the trauma of Aki and Power dying. What we're seeing here is hidden behind a chapter that was mostly about Denji's uncontrollable sexual urges and Mitaka's confusion about everything, is the fact that Denji started to make the connection to how he views sex, the addiction to sex, even if it's with himself, and why, despite getting a nut off and getting that scientific rush of endorphins that comes from it, Denji, he still isn't happy no matter what. This comes to a head when we see the group standing outside of Katana Man's brothel, which has suspiciously been burned down. And if you're looking at Fami, someone who just says she burned down places in the past as being behind this, trust me, you aren't alone. Denji starts to lose it in a beautiful scene where the heavens, they open up and it starts to rain. That is beautiful symbolism when you realize that rainfall can be used to express sorrow and trauma, and Denji just loses it here, and it's done in a way where even if the guy's crying, you won't really know because there's rain falling to hide his tears while he keeps his head down. He says it himself here. Mitaka is right. He has his priorities all in the wrong place. His pets, they're dead. Nayuta is missing. And all he wants to do is go into a brothel, get a nut off either inside of a prostitute or get a hand job from one of them. And Denji just continues to unload here, saying the quiet part out loud for Mitaka. He only wanted to be Chain's Man, not for the praise or the attention, but because it was his quickest path to meet women and try and have sex with them. That's what makes this so sad. Denji is starting to realize it, even if he's still got quite a few pieces that he still needs in order to put the puzzle together. But he's got a problem, and he's starting to realize it. The women that he met in part 1, they were only interested in him because he was Chain's Man, not because he was Denji. Though a strong argument can be made that Reze did end up falling for Denji, the person who by the end of the Bomb Devil arc was starting to fall for him because she was on her way to meet Denji before Makima showed up. But Denji is like that guy who's using his status and his money to get girls. Sure, they might have sex with you, they might go out on a date with you for a few times, but do they really care about you, or do they care about you because of the experiences and the things that you can provide for them? Say Denji bangs 100 girls. Were they having sex with Denji, or were they there to have sex with Chain's Man? To paraphrase Suguru Geto's words from Jujutsu Kaisen, are you Denji because you're Chain's Man, or are you Chain's Man because you're Denji? That's the question our boy must find the answer to. However, as one would expect, that answer is not going to come anytime soon because Denji, he isn't the smartest bulb in the drawer. He starts blaming his penis for his problems, and he starts slamming his fist into the ground. And I do believe in this moment, for all of her faults, Mitaka, she was beginning to see that there's a deeper hurt here with Denji than him just being some gooner incel that you see on random Reddit threads. But before Mitaka can say anything, Yoru, she takes control, and we come full circle in a way that Denji probably wasn't imagining here. We open up the chapter with Denji looking forward to getting a hand job and getting some much needed relief. We end the chapter off with Yoru taking control of Denji, offering to give him a hand job, but it's not so much a happy ending as it's her saying that she's gonna cut off his penis. And since Chainsaw Man is set in the 90s, I wanted to drop this information off to you because I do believe this was an intentional reference by Fujimoto. So back in 1993, Lorena Bobbitt, she cut off her husband's penis with an 8-inch knife, and Yoru offering to cut off Denji's penis, it feels like something that you would have seen in the 90s because there were jokes about this in the late 90s and the early 2000s. I remember being a kid in the barber shop and hearing my barber's joke about it, that his girlfriend or his wife was going to pull a Lorena Bobbitt on him. Even if the context isn't a one-to-one, it doesn't really matter because the Lorena Bobbitt jokes, they were out of context as well. However, to see why I'm so certain that Reze was in love with Denji, click this Chainsaw Man video on the left.